What happened to Hayden Panettiere? What brought her success since a young age? And where were the planets the moment when she passed away? Let's find out. Hi guys, my name is Alexandru Spara and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I want to look into Hayden Panettiere's birth chart. I want to see where were the planets the moment when she was born and the moment when she passed away, so that I can bring more clarity about Vedic astrology. Now, Hayden was an American actress and singer, and she was in the public eye since a young age, and she had a successful career since a young age. So let's have a look into Hayden's birth chart. Now, Hayden was born on August 21st, 1989, and we do not have the birth time for Hayden. So in Vedic astrology, when we don't have the birth time of a person, we make the moon the ascendant. So the moon is going to be the first house. Why is that? Because the moon represents our mind, our emotions, our feelings, and our inner world. So we can understand how Hayden was feeling in her life and on the day when she passed away. So the moon, the day when she was born, was in the sign Aries. And Aries is a fire sign, is ruled by Mars, and it is an action-orientated sign. The moon represents our emotions, our feelings, and our inner world. So the moon in Aries generally means an emotionally direct and fiery nature. Now, the birth chart ruler is Mars. Mars rules Aries, and Mars sits in the 5th house from the moon. And Mars represents action, and it sits there together with the Sun and with Ketu. The Sun represents our life force, our vitality, and Ketu represents loss and detachment. And they are in the 5th house from the moon. So what does that mean? That means that planet Mars, the birth chart ruler, is in a friendly sign because Leo is the 5th sign from Aries, and Leo is ruled by the Sun, and Sun and Mars are friends. Also, Ketu can make Mars sharp when they are in the same sign, sharper than it already is. Now, Mars, the birth chart ruler, sits in Leo, and Leo is also the 3rd house from the 3rd. So what does the 3rd house represent? It represents creativity and self-expression and performance. So Mars here brings a strong drive for creativity and self-expression and performance. Ketu is here, and Ketu brings detachment and loss. And where you have Ketu in your birth chart, it always feels like something is missing. And the 5th house from the moon is also the house of children's. So she can feel that the relation with children's can be strengthened, can be stronger. Many people with Ketu in the 5th house, they can experience challenges with having kids, or if they have, they feel like the relation is distant, like something is always missing there. Now, Ketu in the 5th house can also make creativity unusual and intense. It is the south node of the moon. Hayden was in the public eye since she was a child. So next I want to look into the 10th house from the moon, because the 10th house represents the career and the public image, and I want to see what's going on there. So the 10th house from Aries is Capricorn, and there are no natal planets in Capricorn. So what does that mean? It means that we are going to look at the ruler of Capricorn, which is Saturn, planet Saturn, which sits in the 9th house from the moon. So we have the lord of the 10th house of career and public image sitting in the 9th house. So in Capricorn, there are no planets, but in the 9th house, there is planet Uranus and planet Neptune. So they are sitting together with the planet Saturn. And this can connect career success with beliefs and higher education and traveling and mentors and the sign of purpose. Saturn, it shows that the career develops through patience and discipline, because this is what Saturn brings, discipline. It is a slow-moving planet. Now, Uranus can bring an unconventional or unexpected path, is the planet of shocks and sudden events, and Neptune is strongly associated with film and cinema and fantasy and imagination and glamour and the arts and acting. So you see how the Lord of the 10th house is picking up on the energy of the planets that sit in the same house, right? The 9th house. So this is very interesting for someone whose career is in film or entertainment. Now, so far, this indicates that Hayden was meant to become famous, right? She was meant to be an actress. She was meant to be in cinema and acting. And she has the drive and the passion and the courage to express her creativity because the birth chart ruler, planet Mars, is the planet of action and it sits in the 3rd house from the 3rd, which represents creativity and self-expression and performance. So she was meant to be an actress. This is very, very interesting, and she was very talented. Now, I want to add to the screen the day of August 16th, 2026, the day when she passed away, to see where were the planets the moment when she passed away, and why at such a young age. I believe 36 is very young, and you're still very young at 36. That's the truth. And I want to see where were the planets the moment when she passed away, because I believe she left way too early this world. And I see straight away what we say in Vedic astrology, Sadhisati. So what is Sadhisati? Sadhisati is a period of 7.5 years of pressure and responsibility and delays and maturity. And this is indicated by planet Saturn coming close to the moon. So transiting Saturn, when it reaches the house where the natal moon sits in, one house before and one house after the natal moon, which is in Aries. Natal moon is in Aries, and planet Saturn is transiting over Pisces. This indicates that she was in the beginning phase of Sadhisati. So the beginning phase of this period of pressure and responsibility and delays. So this already is an indicator that she was going through a lot emotionally, because the moon represents our emotions. And remember, we are looking at the birth chart from the moon to understand how she was feeling, especially the day. Now, I see also that there is a nodal return. So what does that mean? That means that when Rahu and Ketu, the north node of the moon and the south node of the moon, are reaching in the same point, in the same house where they were when the moment a person is born on the birth chart in the sky, it is called a nodal return. And Ketu is transiting in the 5th house in Leo, where natal Ketu sits. So this is happening every 18.5 years. So that means at 18, that means 18.5 years, 36 again, 37, and look, she passed away at 36 years old. So what does a nodal return means? It means a life re-evaluation. It is a turning point and a karmic shift, and brings sudden changes where your life is being reshaped and re-evaluated. So every 18.5 years, we all going through these changes. So this is also a period of a major turning point in her life, together with Sadhisati, a period of pressure of 7.5 years. It is extremely challenging for her. And another return lasts for 1.5 years. So this is how much Rahu and Ketu are staying in one sign. Now I'm also looking at Ketu being in the 5th house, where the planet Mars sits, natal Mars sits, which is the birth chart ruler. So this weakens, takes away. Ketu takes away and Rahu gives. So it takes away from the energy of the birth chart ruler. So it emotionally, it makes the emotions be more sensitive, as well as the life force, because the sun sits in the 5th house as well. So Ketu over the suns means that there is a loss of energy, of life force, of vitality. Next, I'm going to look at planet Uranus, because planet Uranus is transiting in the 2nd house, and it is opposing the 8th house from the moon. And the 8th house is the house of death and rebirth. So this is again a challenging transit, because Planet Uranus from the second house is aspecting the 8th house from the moon, and planet Uranus represents sudden unexpected events and shocks to the 8th house, the house of death and rebirth. So this is a challenging aspect because it's opposing, right? Opposition, it's a challenging aspect. Now, Neptune and Saturn, they are in the 12th house, and they bring, from the moon, they bring confusion and things becoming unclear, because this is what the planet Neptune brings, is the planet of fog and illusions. And this can describe a period of extreme withdrawal. The 12th house is the last house from the moon, is where we keep things stored, right? Like emotions, and it's indicates the way we exit this world, because it's the last house, right? So we exit this world every night through sleep, through jail, through hospital, through spiritual retreats. So Neptune and Saturn in the 12th house, again, very challenging aspect. It brings confusion emotionally. Now I'm looking at transiting Mars. Transiting Mars is in Gemini, in the 3rd house from the moon, and it is casting a 4th aspect to the 6th house. What does that mean? It means that in Vedic astrology, some planets, they have special aspects, and when you count 4 houses from planet Mars, you're gonna get to Virgo. From transiting Mars, Gemini, 4 houses is going to be the 6th house from the moon, which is Virgo, and the ruler is Mercury, and Mercury sits in the 6th house, and the 6th house represents healing and health. So with Mars, a natural malefic aspecting the 6th house from the moon and the 6th lord, also we have planet Saturn opposing the 6th house from the 12th house in Pisces. If you count 7 placements from Pisces where Saturn is transiting, you're gonna get to the 6th house, which is the house of health. So the house of health and the ruler of health were both of them, they were activated by natural malefics, by the transits of natural malefics. So the important points in her chart, the sensitive points, were touched. The moon, the ruler of the health house, the birth chart ruler, the sun, the vitality, right? So with all of these transits and periods, I'm going to say that this was definitely one of the most challenging periods in her life, because we have Sadisati, which represents a period of pressure. We have another return, which represents a major turning point and a karmic shift. We have Ketu, which represents losses transiting over the sun and over the birth chart ruler. We have Uranus that's activating the axis to 8, which 8th house deals with death and rebirth, and Uranus deals with sudden shocks and events. We have Neptune and Saturn in the 12th house, which brings confusion and endings and isolation. And we have these transits of Saturn and Mars, which are natural malefics, affecting the 6th house of health and the ruler of the 6th house of health, Mercury. So with all of this period and transits, this indicates that Hayden was going through a major turning point and period of pressure and responsibility and endings in her life. So I am sure that Hayden will be remembered by the whole world for her talent. I believe it's very important for us to learn where are the planets in our birth chart, so that we can see, learn, and identify and grow. Now, if I have brought more clarity into Hayden Panettiere's birth chart, why was she famous, why was she a successful actress, and the moment of her passing, please let me know in the comments. If you would like to learn more about Vedic astrology, subscribe to the channel and let me know where are you seeing this from and who you would like to see next, which famous person chart you would like to go through together in the next video. Thank you.